It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction being Yo 98. Day in that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Stack the Beam, man. Glad y'all came back and forth with me, bro. Now, we're going to take it to a channel that we've been to plenty of times. He's one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to this true crime storytelling. Y'all know who it be. Mike from that chapter. Back to Mike, man. Back to Mike once again, y'all. The title of it is The Twisted Case of Leah Porter. I don't know. I have no idea what this case is about. Never heard of Leah Porter. Don't know nothing about it, but I'm pretty sure our boy Mike gonna do a good job detailing all the fucked upness and the twistedness of this case. But before we hear Mike do his thing, man, please, get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please, for the story. Y'all got what y'all need? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, what I want to do is take you on a journey of self-discovery. Not mine. Who knows how this video will turn out. No, it's for the people in this story, and it's really a story about beliefs. Beliefs in things greater than yourself, like maybe, I don't know, pieces of paper. Well, one person in this story was obsessed with, and I mean like to the max, obsessed with tarot cards. Whatever the card says, it goes, so buckle up. It is to Westminster we go, located in Colorado, and there, a young woman named Leah Porter, she moved there, to start fresh, to start again. But it went rotten, like, real quick. So, right, I kind of think that about does it. This story's wild, so let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go!
So this whole story takes us to the city of Westminster. Big C. The camera's reversed, so should I be doing it? Big CO.
Great things are definitely going downtown, with businesses opening up in downtown Westminster.
It's in central Colorado. Really, it's part of the Denver metro area, and is home to over 100,000 people, if you can believe that. It's a place where, if you were looking for a job making jars, you can get one. The Ball Corporation is there, along with other high-tech shenanigans, and it's a fast-growing city. You better keep up. Though, that kind of comes with, crime rates also growing, so who earns? But you know what, overall, it's nice, it's safe, it's friggin' lovely, so it is, lads, I'm mad about it. My new favorite place. Now enough about that, who cares? What we do care about is the story of Leah Porter, who went missing in the city of Westminster in the year 2014. See, Leah wasn't long in Westminster. She just arrived and things went off the rails pretty quickly. Wrong crowd sort of deal, when some people, they'll approach you as your friend, and it turns out they got some pretty evil shit behind them, like real sick shit. But who was Leah Porter?
Yeah, who was that?
I'll answer that for you now. Leah Porter was born in 1994, the younger sister to older brother Max and daughter of Renee Jackson. She grew up in Cotopaxi, southern Colorado, about 3 hours from Denver, and a blink and you'll miss it sort of place. If you're not there for the whitewater rafting along the Arkansas River, you're surely there for the Cotopaxi General Store / gas station / restaurant. Honestly, it looks beautiful, but I think you can understand why Leah would want to be out of there. Leah and Max, they were like glue. They were like two things that stick together really well. I can't think of anything right now, but they were like that. He was protective of her, and he always kept an eye on his little sis. They both attended Cotopaxi High School, a very small school for a very small population in a very big place. The mountains are big, the sky is big, and Leah had a big personality. She liked school, well, she liked the social aspect of it anyway. The hit the books part, maybe not so much, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Which in her case, you know, like mine, and probably a lot of yous, means you're just gonna do enough to get by and that's it. Not just me, our education system needs to be updated for the modern world. Come on, guys. Lee was outgoing, friendly, warm, gregarious, and she had many friends. She was popular wherever she went, and generally just got on. She was a people person. Lee didn't always have, like, the best judgment, but you know what? She always had older brother Max to fall back on. He would be there if she got, you know, in too deep, in too much trouble. He would always be there and have her back. But in 2013, Max, he graduated, you know, community college. He got his degree. He got his degree in massage therapy, and he left town. See, the Porters were originally from California, and I guess he was going back home. To start up a business there. And Lee, you know, who always looked up to him, she went to the same college he did. She did the same course in massage therapy that he did. The plan was, you know, he went back to California to set up a massage kind of, you know, therapy business. And the plan was that she, once she got her own degree, would join him in said business. But that's not what happened. See, she started getting a little bit depressed in college, away from her brother, her friends, her life that she had left behind. Now, it is common enough, I would say, you know, for people who move away for school and for college to get depressed being away from their home. But with her, it was like, it was really bad. It struck her a little bit harder than most. She was now in this town called Trinidad in Colorado, and there's not really a whole lot going on there, so Lee was probably just there at the four walls most of the time. But it was there that she met a guy. I hear doves. Yeah, I hear him, guys.
Oh, shit. Nah, this was finna get fucked up at. She met a guy. That's what a story finna turn. Watch.
More like, what's like a shitty bird? That's the sound I gotta put in there. His name was Jesse, and he seems like he just walked out of a Limp Bizkit concert in 1997. In his mind, he probably did, because he was in his 30s. Lee was 18 years old.
Oh, man.
Alone, naive, you know.
He taking advantage, bro. He taking advantage.
Vulnerable. So this winner made a dog's dinner of Lee's entire plans. She stopped going to class, she moved in with this all-star, and then it turned out that this Jessie was a bit of a fiend for the LH dog, heroin. She then dropped out of college. She still had the debt for paying for college, and she had an addiction now. So things kind of spiraled. We're spiraling. Shockingly, it turned out this guy kind of sucked. Who could have known? They would fight, and now with no college, no family or friends around her, and a shitty boyfriend, Lee decided to leave. All she got out of the deal was a heroin addiction and a mountain of debt. So it was in early June 2014 that Lee upped, and she left. She went to where I was talking about at the very beginning, if you do recall, the city of Westminster. It's really always hard not to call it Westminster. I kind of just automatically say that. Almost immediately, she went missing.
Damn.
Max, he couldn't get through to her. And, you know, even though he lived on the coast, he had kind of been in constant contact with her. And Lee's mother had kind of been kept in the dark about, you know, about exactly what Lee had been going through during her time in college. And, you know, how things were just not great for her. But when he told her all about this, worry spread like wildfire. Lee's mother, Renee, she still paid for her phone bills, so she had access to who Lee had last been speaking to before she went missing. The last she'd been heard from was on the 3rd of June, and there was 2 numbers that are like at the very bottom of the list as the last ones she had called. So Renee, she called up these 2 numbers, you know. Who had Lee last been speaking to before she stopped speaking to anyone? One was a hotel just outside Denver. It turned out that Lee and Jesse, they'd spent the night together on the 2nd of June in a hotel room. So that was Lee, I guess, had called to make the booking. The other number she called was to a guy named Christopher Chris Wade. He said she had been to his place on the 3rd of June. And he lived in Westminster. Lee had gone to Westminster without really knowing anybody there and any plans or where she was going to stay. So Chris, he said he spoke to Lee. And offered, hey, you want to crash with me? Go ahead. Now, the reason Chris knew Lee and how they had actually begun contacting was that Christopher Wade was Cotopaxi represent. He was a local. He went to school with Max and with Lee. He was a homeboy of the Porters. Now, they didn't exactly know each other super well, but, you know, Facebook friends or whatever, like acquaintances. Chris told Renee that, Lee, she was living out of her car, so he had offered her, like, a place to crash, rest those dogs. But, they hung out for a couple of hours, and then she was off again to parts unknown. Chris, he was a sharp cookie. He did well in school. After school, he joined up with the military, and now he was studying criminal justice in Denver. Don't they always study criminal justice? Bit of a, like one of these, a weird an odd guy. I mean, come on, just look at him. Would you feel comfortable around this man?
Hell
I wouldn't
no.
drink anything he gave me. Let's put it that way. Renee, she called the police. She told them about both Chris and Jesse. So Chris Wade, talking to the police, he said he got in touch with Lee when she had made a Facebook post asking, hey, anybody have a place to crash? And he replied to her message saying, yeah. She came over, they hung out, they went and they got a bite to eat, and then she got some kind of text. Chris didn't know from who, and she left. She got in a white van or a white truck with some stranger, and off she went. Now, Lee Porter's car was still near his house, all her belongings inside.
What the fuck?
Now, parts of his...
I mean, bro, I just want to ask y'all real quick. Do y'all believe this Chris motherfucker, bro? Because I believe this man just lying. I believe all this shit is a fucking lie, bro. He did something to goddamn Lee, man. He did something to her, bro. That's what I believe. But we shall see.
His story could be validated because Lee's car was in his car park. So she definitely had arrived to his place, but, Chris was saying she left with somebody else. He had no idea who and never heard from her again. Okay.
Porter's family hired a private investigator who says they've pinpointed 4 search locations, all bodies of water, based on the pings from Porter's cell phone. They plan to take the cadaver dog teams to those areas with the hope of finding Lee.
Say a prayer for her. Ask God to help us find her. And that will help me.
A search began for Lee. The posters went up, checking everywhere in Westminster. Max, he flew in from California to help with the search. The 2 people the police were looking at were Jesse and Chris. Jesse, though, was pleading his innocence. In fact, at the time, he was in Maryland at a drug rehabilitation center. He may well have been with Lee on the 2nd of June, but by the time Chris says he saw Lee, Jesse was out of state.
It's Chris.
The police could pretty quickly back up his alibi and stuff that, whatever happened to Lee happened after he had left. Days would go by with no word on where Lee had gone and with whom. Had she even gotten into had she even been with Chris? Like, we have no confirmation anything about his story is true. And Chris would speak with KCNC, Colorado's news channel. What is Chrissy boy, watch it Chrissy. What does he have to say?
Overall, she seemed pretty depressed, and while she was smiling, it didn't really go to her eyes. So that kind of was weirding me out to see her like that.
Motherfucker, you weirding me out.
So, riddle me this. Have you ever seen a man's mind go 1,000,000 miles a minute? Well, you're about to.
Yeah, she said she was tired and she just wanted to crash, so I said okay. And I found some of her drugs and confronted her about it that night. Then shortly afterwards, she took off. And I didn't really think much of it. I thought she was just angry at me because I was playing the part of the concerned friend.
Riddle me this, number 2. Is this a normal thing to say? Because I don't think it is.
I don't really have very many friends, but the friends I do have, I'm very loyal to. So even losing one is a heavy blow for me.
What an odd man.
I'd say to her that I'm sorry that if she thought that I was angry at her for doing drugs, but I want her to be safe, and I want her to know that I want the best for her.
kind of weird, man.
A week after Lee's disappearance, the police did a search of Chris's apartment. It was a SHIT shithole. Not only that, dear Chris over here, he had a new story. This time, he said Lee started to get funky with him. But he said at some point during the funkiness, she had a nosebleed. She had a nosebleed, guys, so, you know, blood coming out of her schnoz. If you see blood anywhere, it's from the nosebleed, guys. I told you about it, so now you know. You don't have to do any investigating. He said he had to throw the sheets out of the room because of the nosebleed, and also it definitely didn't have anything to do with that big old knife you'll find right beside my bed. I'm telling you about it now, guys, so, you know, I'm being honest Chris over here. They also found in his apartment a receipt for bleach and rubber gloves. These were bought early on the 4th of June.
Oh yeah, it's most definitely him now. And the thing I want to say too, bro, I think dude was trying to rape her. He was trying to get him some, bro. And she went with that shit. And he ended up killing her. That's what I think happened.
Nothing Chris said was correct. And if there's one thing Chris loves doing more, even than telling, like, untruth lies, it's sighing. It's really annoying.
And probably last opportunity to do this voluntarily.
I maintain my innocence, but I would like a lawyer.
But he said nada, nothing. And the police didn't have anything to link him to whatever happened to Lee. He shut down the interview, and so they let him go. Lee's phone would eventually be traced to a dump nearby, and after a major search, it was found, along with some of her other items. Her body, though, if there, they didn't find it. I mean, they let him go, but, like, not really, because he was put under police surveillance. After all, if he did have something to do with Lee Porter's disappearance, as we see time and time again, there's a fair old chance now, you know what I mean? He'll go back to whatever he did with her, wherever he put her. He'll go back there.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, Lee's family were in maximum search mode. They hadn't come close to giving up, and they were there every day desperately trying to find Lee Porter. And Max, he was there too, and he was right up front. And he started talking more with Chris, trying to see if his story changed, you know, anything new. Slowly, it did. So like small changes here and there in Chris's story. Maybe it started like this. Oh wait, no. It started like this when you'd ask him the next day. And remember, there's like that old saying, if you're telling the truth, you never need to remember anything. Well, it seemed like Chris needed to remember a lot. But Max was like, sweet talking, old buddy, old pal, you know, trying to become his confidant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is like, the one person you might not want to be your confidant is the victim's brother.
I
But
know, right?
hey, he tried. It actually worked. Now, a few things about Chrissy. One being Lee must have been absolutely at her wit's end. She must have been desperate to go and speak with him and meet up with him. Now, Chris had been like kind of Facebook stalking Lee for a time after they became friends. They became friends on Facebook. They didn't really know each other in person, but Chris would like, you okay, hun? Liking her fucking status, everything she posted, any pictures supposed like it's like, you know, when you get to know, it's like, oh, that person's liked everything I've ever done. That's weird. He was like messaging her as if he wanted to be her white knight, you know?
I can fix you, babe.
Weird. There's a lot of weird about Wade, actually, so it's a good thing his name rhymes. In high school, Max had heard, like again, they were in the same year, but they weren't friends. Probably because Max had heard some weird shit about Christopher Wade. Apparently Chris would keep journals about, you know, fantasizing about capturing and keeping women as sex slaves.
The
and
fuck?
that sort of thing. Chris had spent time in the military. It was something he never really spoke of very much. Not for the reason a lot of people in the military don't speak about it. No, his reason for not speaking about it was because he was discharged.
Oh.
What happened while he was in the military was that he had told a psychologist, an army psychologist, that he had tried to kidnap a woman while in high school. Yeah, twice.
What the fuck?
He literally attempted to kidnap, molest, and murder a young girl while he was in high school. He even attempted it. He even attempted it twice. Like, it's not just like he thought about doing it.
He actually
broke
did it.
into their home where a young girl was living to kidnap her. And both times he got into the house and he got scared off. One time by someone who was going to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, so he ran. Another time by a dog. So the military were like,
you got to get the
out,
fuck up out of
and
here.
when the police searched his place, they found he was a peruser of a violent child. You know. He also enjoyed wearing women's underwear. I mean, hey, I guess I'll...
Okay, yeah, this dude just all over the place, bro. He just all types of weird. Like, he just all over the place, bro. I was wondering, like, how in the hell he was in the military if he crazy. Man, now I see. They kicked his ass up out of there.
Well, don't knock until I try it. I'm good, though. I'll stick with my boxer briefs. I'm good, thanks. And one thing about Chris was that he adored tarot cards, the old Major Arcanum or whatever. He loved deciphering his destiny, reading out these cards. He obviously wasn't reading them close enough because he deciphered jack shit about what would happen. He sat down once with Max and with Jesse. See, what happened was that Max felt that Chris was going to tell him something. So he called Jesse, who flew from Maryland, where he was in rehab. And so Max and Jesse were like, listen, we're going to confront Chris. He's not going to tell him about himself, so he needs a bit of prodding. Chris, Max, and Jesse, they sat down in this city park in Westminster under the pretense of, hey, Chris, do your tarot reading. Maybe we can decipher something about what happened to Lee. Give it a go. The police were actually there too, watching Chris, but nobody knew it. So Chris got out the deck. Let's see if we can find Lee. Max recorded it all on his phone.
Air, earth, fire, water, spirit. Pentacles. The deck could be saying about some of the perceptions of me, or it could be just indicating that there's a sense of paranoia about it.
What?
During the reading, Max confronted Chris. Tell us what happened to Lee. And he did.
Oh, shit.
Chris, we just really need to know, man.
I know.
Look at me right in my eyes. Dude, where is she?
I don't know where she is right now.
You know what happened.
I can tell you.
We can tell you.
I can tell you.
I know.
Where is she? Chris, please. They're gonna find out, man. They're gonna find out eventually. It's gonna eat you up. They're gonna know what happened.
You know it's the right thing to do.
I know.
Chris.
I won't hold grudges. I won't hold it to you, man.
We will forgive.
I will forgive you.
Okay.
You tell me right now what happened to my sister. You know what happened to my sister.
Yes, you have every right to be angry with me for...
Just tell me.
For lying to you, and...
I'm not angry with you because
Yeah.
you're about to tell me where my sister is. Tell us right now. Start talking, please.
I'm
know
trying
it's hard.
to find... I know,
Just start letting it out, man. I know it's
Okay.
hard. You gotta let it out right now. I just need to know.
Okay, the first part of my story was right. She did text me and asked to come over because she was feeling really depressed.
Yeah.
We went out and for a while we were talking.
He said she came over, they hung out, sexual relations began.
She wouldn't do that, dude. She wouldn't do that. Chris, stop lying. She wouldn't
I'm
do
not
that.
lying.
Okay. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Keep going, buddy.
Y'all think he's still lying or he really telling the truth now? Cause I don't know. But let's go.
They had sex, and then he said she asked him for drug money. He said no, and so she came at him with a stabber.
He's still lying.
And I grabbed her, stepped forward and twisted her around so that her body was in between me and the knife. I placed my hand at her throat. I didn't start squeezing until after she kept going. Said, we can end this right now. I won't say anything to anyone. Just please drop the knife. She said that she would stop when either she was dead or if I agreed to buy her drugs. I started squeezing on her throat and I ended up cutting her and I dropped her. She landed on the floor. I turned her over to check and make sure she was still alive. and I checked the pulse and didn't find anything.
Where'd you put her body? Where's your body?
I'll get to that. Just please let me finish from...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I did the only thing I could think of, and God help me, I put her in the dumpster.
Oh, man.
Heck, I wouldn't have believed it if I had told it to me. I will be turning myself in to the police. I will tell them...
No, you're going to jail right now. You think I'm just going to let you walk away and drive away? You killed my sister.
I know, right?
At this point, Max jumped over the table and started beating the ever-living shite out of Chris, which I think we can all agree is well-deserved. We got some good digs in. They then forced Chris to call 911 and confess. Confess he did.
911? Yes, I'd like to confess to a murder.
Okay.
The case is into the disappearance of Lee Porter.
Chris called 911, but the cops were already there, watching, and arrested him.
Right now, the search tonight for the body of Lee Porter. Her high school friend is sitting behind bars linked to her murder. Christopher Wade turned himself in to Westminster Police last night. Police searched his apartment twice and today sectioned off part of a public landfill in connection with the case.
We have some good leads on where Leah's at, so we're out looking for Leah. We want to bring her home to her family.
He was arrested then, and the police would search and search and search the dump. Chris, Chris, he said he put her body in the bin, must have been taken to the dump. I mean, her stuff was found there, so her body should be near, but it wasn't. Lee Porter has never been found. That was his story anyway. Many people, including Misha, do not think that is true. He pulled it out of his arse. He could have buried her anywhere in the surrounding lands. Colorado is a big state with a lot of empty.
Yeah.
She could be anywhere.
Now, the family of Lee Porter says they are not getting the closure they want after their daughter was murdered. The man who says he killed her, Christopher Wade, did agree today to a plea bargain that will send him to prison for 48 years.
So go on, tell the fucking truth of where she at, bro. That's why I said his ass still lying. Even though it's good he confessed to the murder, he's still lying about what exactly happened, bro.
And so, with no body, Christopher took a plea deal and accepted a second-degree murder conviction. He got 48 years in prison. He will be in his 50s by the time he's up for parole. His story is obviously so full of shit, but it's the only one we have. And so, until otherwise, or Lee's body is found, they had to be taken as the truth. And even to this day, the Porter family is still searching for her. They, as I do, think he is making it up. His story is a complete bollocks. There were reports, there were witnesses. Chris's neighbors said that on the night of the 3rd of June, early on the 4th of June, probably around the same time he was getting, the bleach and the gloves, a van was seen parked outside his house. Not his van. They believe Chris may have had help disposing of Lee's body, somewhere in the vast Colorado mountains and woods. Multiple searches were done, but nothing located. Not yet, anyway. To date, anyway. And Chris is in prison where he belongs, looking like an absolute psycho. And Lee is still out there. Who knows if she will be found. It's an amazing story, though, of a brother, getting his sister's killer to confess to what he did. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what he said happened is about as believable as this.
Oh, man. This one of them stories that make me be like more than anything. Y'all just be safe out there, bro. Cause it's like, you don't know if a person really is like a Chris Wade. You know what I'm saying? A Christopher Wade. Especially people that I can't even say that. Like, they go back to high school together. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, they ain't just meet each other. She kind of knew him, but you just never know who's sick out here, y'all. Y'all just be careful, man, when y'all just interacting with people, bro. It's crazy, too, how he been fantasizing about doing this since back in high school when he did something, tried to do something with the 16-year-old girl when he attempted twice to do the same thing he did to Lee. He already had attempted it. It's crazy how some of these kids, like, it just don't happen like that they just become a sick motherfucker. They been sick and it just building up and he finally did it. And the last thing I'll say is, like Mike said, it is amazing, bro, that her brother and her brother get plenty W's, man. Throw them dubs up for him, bro. But for him to actually get that man to admit that shit, bro, that's strong. That was strong now. Shouts out to what his name was. I think it was Max. Shout out to Max, bro. Real talk. I digress. Crazy story, man. I can go on and on about it. But I'm glad y'all came back and watched it with me, man. We will be back very soon. Hey, y'all hit the subscribe button, that like, and all that good stuff right there. But until then, my friends, the Bean Baby. Legend.